What is it?
Mulva?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Seinfeld exes who got the last laugh.
Liar! Liar! You were never going to call me!
For this list, we're looking at exes who the four main Seinfeld characters dated. The gang doesn't exactly have a good relationship track record, and in these cases, their exes came out on top. Who was your favorite Seinfeld ex? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Noelle. Since almost every woman is out of his league, George Costanza has rarely held the upper hand in a relationship.
I'm very uncomfortable. I have no power. I mean, why should she have the upper hand? Once in my life, I would like the upper hand. I have no hand at all. She has the hand. I have no hand.
Sensing that Noelle is going to dump him, George receives an inspired idea from Kramer. Break up with her first and reverse the power dynamic.
You're breaking up with me?
Yes. I am breaking up with you.
Wow.
Shocked?
I really am.
Never expected this, did you?
Suddenly, Noelle becomes desperate to hold on to George, much to his delight. To Noelle's credit, she's not in the best place, as Elaine's laughter during her piano recital shot her confidence. When Noelle realizes that Elaine was the one laughing and George knew about it, the tables are turned again. Noelle delivers two highly satisfying zingers as she departs. After telling George that she's dumping him, she notes that having hand in a breakup is only good for one thing.
I am breaking up with you.
You can't break up with me. I've got hand.
And you're gonna need it.
Number 9. Margaret. It doesn't take much more than a big salad to break up George and Julie.
George, all I did was hand someone a bag.
We often wonder how George picks up so many women in the first place, but this episode presents two even bigger questions. First, what did Margaret ever see in Newman? Second, why did Newman break up with Margaret?
Perhaps there's more to Newman than meets the eye.
No, there's less.
It's possible.
No, it isn't.
Both of these questions haunt Jerry when he starts dating Margaret. He's unable to fathom the idea that Newman would reject any woman, especially one with seemingly no faults. Unable to kiss her without thinking about Newman, Margaret kicks Jerry to the curb in more ways than one.
Thank you.
Hilariously, we never learn why Margaret wasn't Newman's type. It's just another puzzle piece in the enigma that is his love life. Number 8. Kevin. I just want to be friends is a nice way to soften the blow during a breakup. Although, in reality, not everyone is interested in being friends with an ex. To Elaine's surprise, Kevin is enthusiastic about the idea.
Friends. Yeah. Why not friends? I might like to try that. Like you and Jerry.
While this mirrors Elaine's relationship with Jerry, Kevin is otherwise the complete opposite of him. In Superman terms, he's the Bizarro Jerry.
Bizarro Jerry?
Yeah, like Bizarro Superman. Superman's exact opposite. Who lives in the backwards Bizarro world. Up is down, down is up. He says hello when he leaves, goodbye when he arrives.
At first, Elaine enjoys having a version of Jerry who's thoughtful and sensitive. The problem is that Elaine isn't either of those two things. Whereas Elaine's poor manners are accepted in Jerry's apartment, they get her kicked out of Kevin's.
I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do?
Haven't you done enough already?
Don't worry, Kevin has a Bizarro George and a Bizarro Kramer to keep him company. We're sure there's a Bizarro Elaine out there too. Number 7. Scam Woman. Okay, so she's not exactly an ex per se, but this one's too good to exclude from our list. On his way to a job interview, George gets sidetracked when he seemingly hits it off with a fellow subway passenger.
All they care about is money. I'm about more than money. I'm about, people. So I've always gone my own way, and I've never looked back.
As the mysterious woman takes George to a hotel, strips down, and handcuffs him to the bed, it appears too good to be true. That's because it is, which is often the case with George. The woman turns out to be a scam artist, although George only has a few bucks in his pocket.
$8? $8?
What are you doing? You're robbing me?
I wasted my whole morning on you for
still comes out on top, stealing George's expensive suit and leaving him with nothing but a pair of drawers, shoes, and those handcuffs. We're not sure if this is the single most humiliating thing that's happened to George, but the incident definitely sticks with him.
I was handcuffed to the bed in my underwear, where I remained for certain reasons.
Number 6. Dolores. When a relationship is still in its infancy, it's only natural to ask questions. However, there's only a brief window where you can ask what's your name without things getting awkward.
I don't know what the name of this woman in the bathroom. So when she comes out, you introduce yourself, and then she'll be forced to say her name.
10-4.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Hello, I'm Kramer.
Nice to meet you.
See you later.
Jerry misses the window, but he learns that the woman he's dating has a name that rhymes with a female sex organ. Jerry strikes out when he guesses Mulva, resulting in his now ex-girlfriend storming off. It isn't until after she leaves that Jerry realizes her name is Dolores.
Oh! Oh! Dolores!
Originally, the name was Cloris in the script, but when an audience member guessed Dolores at the taping, the crew decided to go with that instead. Jerry and Dolores reconcile years later, giving her the chance to dump him all over again.
But obviously there's no growth here.
Well, I can't argue with that, but the fact remains, I was completely...
Number 5. Jillian. Jillian is the whole package, except for one perceived flaw. She possesses man hands, as Jerry describes them.
She had man hands.
Man hand?
The hands of a man. It's like a creature out of Greek mythology.
Although some could easily overlook this, Jerry can't take his eyes off her meat hooks as she screws off a bottle cap and rips into a lobster. For the record, a male crew member's hands were used for these close-ups. Shortly after ending the relationship, Jerry gets caught going through Jillian's purse.
Got it.
Jerry thought Jillian squeezed his hand tight when they first met, but that was only a preview of her strength.
Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Although things don't work out between Jerry and Jillian, writer David Mandel loosely based the storyline on his relationship with his future wife, Dr. Rebecca Whitney. According to Whitney, though, she has, quote, farm hands and not man hands. Number 4. Leslie. Jillian will likely never be a hand model, but it turns out that George has a perfect pair of mitts. Unfortunately, George gets caught between Jerry, Kramer, and the latter's low-talking girlfriend Leslie.
Excuse me?
Due to Leslie's quiet voice, Jerry winds up on the Today Show wearing one of her puffy pirate shirts. When Jerry condemns the shirt on live television, Leslie finally makes her voice heard.
It's a puffy shirt. I feel ridiculous in it. And I think it's the stupidest shirt I've ever seen, to be perfectly honest with you.
You bastard!
Did you hear that? That I heard.
Actions speak louder than words, however. And when George insults the shirt as well, Leslie leaves both of his hands in bandages. While she's at it, Leslie dumps Kramer too. Although Leslie's career is ruined, she gets the last word when the gang goes on trial.
So you asked Mr. Seinfeld if he would wear your puffy shirt on the Today Show?
Well, kind of. Not even the court stenographer can understand her low talking. Number 3. David Puddy. Aside from Jerry, David Puddy is the most prominent character that Elaine has dated. Throughout their on-again, off-again relationship, Puddy usually finds a way to get the last laugh. He gives up face painting for Elaine, but she said nothing about painting his chest.
But you said no more painting.
Oh, I said no more face painting, and as you can see, this is not my face.
Yeah, that's right.
Following Elaine's attempts to get rid of his fur coat, Puddy breaks out an even more embarrassing jacket. We especially love one episode where Elaine dumps Puddy for her apparent dream guy, only for her to realize that the attraction stems from a commercial.
You dumped me for some idiotic TV pitchman.
I'm sorry, Puddy. It was a mistake. So let's just put it behind us and we can continue as if this never happened.
Jeez, I don't know. What if we're out somewhere and you see the Maytag repairman?
When Elaine goes crawling back to Puddy, he relishes leaving her high and dry. Before the gang goes to prison in the finale, Puddy demonstrates just how much he cares about the relationship with one word.
All right.
Number 2. Susan Ross. Two of George's exes get the last laugh when they wind up in a relationship. Allison and Susan date for a period, but the latter eventually gets back together with George. Almost immediately after proposing, George keeps trying to weasel out of his impending nuptials to no avail.
You need more time? You should have more time.
What, you think I could postpone it?
Sure you can. Why not?
That's allowed? You're allowed to postpone it?
I don't see why not.
George's cheapness ultimately gets him off the hook, as Susan dies licking the toxic envelopes for the wedding invitations that he insisted on purchasing. Although it sounds like George got the last laugh, Susan gets revenge from beyond the grave. George is stuck running the Susan Ross Foundation, realizing that he would have been set for life if he had made it to the altar. In another ironic twist, George later slips on an invitation, ruining his summer. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Jane. Jerry and Kramer will never forget that voice.
Don't call me anymore. You either.
Audrey. Dumping George, she follows her heart and nose to Kramer.
Well, I'll check you guys out later. Ready?
I didn't watch.
Marla. Upgrading from Jerry, she loses her virginity to John F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, John. That was wonderful.
Mary Cantardi. Quite possibly the show's most epic takedown.
Some insignificant piece of dust. Some person who doesn't deserve your respect and your attention. Or you're the one that doesn't deserve my respect and my attention. You're the insignificant piece of dust.
Ben Gelfand. We guess Elaine will never get to date a doctor, but maybe a lawyer.
I'm sorry, Elaine. I always knew that after I became a doctor, I would dump whoever I was with and find someone better. That's the dream of becoming a doctor.
Number 1. Sidra Holland. Sidra is among Jerry's most memorable exes for a couple of reasons. Although Elaine has a close encounter with her in the sauna, she isn't sure whether Sidra has had breast implants or not.
I think they're real, and if they are, I must say they are spectacular.
What are you doing to me?
It appears Jerry may find out for himself until Sidra encounters Elaine at his apartment. Sometimes it's funnier when a mystery is left unsolved, but in this case, the answer provides the perfect punchline.
And by the way, they're real and they're spectacular.
In the script, actress Terry Hatcher was only supposed to say the first part of the line. At the 11th hour, though, Larry David added the final 3 words that propelled this line to legendary status. Sidra's parting words to Jerry even resurface in the finale, once again getting the last laugh. And Jackie Chiles.
Come on, Jackie, let's go.
What? Oh, and by the way, they're real and they're spectacular.
Watch all 180 episodes of Seinfeld anytime on Netflix.